Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to RogueCast, your dedicated Rogue Company podcast and one-stop shop for all the latest Rogue Company news, exclusive interviews and clips of the week. This week has been massive for Rogue Company, but one thing I want to go over really quickly is that the game is now in open beta and free to play for everybody and anybody. So make sure if you are wanting to play this and haven't downloaded it yet, you go download it and enjoy this amazing game. I am your host RogueCast. Let's get into the RogueCast. Okay, so kicking us off with the news, as I said, the game is now in open beta. It has been released so that everybody can now play it. Whatever platform you're on, whatever device, you can now go download the game for free. However, there is far more content being added this week and far more news, including the release of the first new rogue since closed beta, Dahlia. Dahlia has had a lot of hype around her, particularly around her new SMG, the Objection, and her new perk, Lifeline. If you're looking for more content around Dahlia and want to know how to play her, I have 3 videos here on the channel for you to go check out. I have a video with my first impressions, showing you my first game and initial thoughts. I then have a full guide on Dahlia so you can have everything you need to know. I also have an SMG breakdown showing you the time to kill and other stats for this weapon compared to the other SMGs, so you can see exactly how strong it is. Go check those out if you are interested. With that new content being added though and ranked being changed from phase 2 of the roadmap to phase 3, we're now transitioning into that phase 3 time as all the phase 2 content has now been completed. This is going to be very exciting. The game is progressing a lot quicker than I was expecting, and I'm looking forward to when this game goes into full release so we can get a lot of hype around it. Speaking about building hype for the game though, this week has brought a lot of new big creators into the game and showcasing it to their audiences. 100 Thieves are obviously a massive part of that now, with their skin bundles being officially added into the game for you to purchase. You can buy a Rogue bundle which will give you a skin for Dima, Phantom, Saint and Ronin, or you can buy a weapon skin bundle or both if you so wish. But when the game did officially announce that it was going into open beta, Ninja and Scott Gandy jumped in some games together and were playing live on stream, bringing in a really big audience to Rogue Company and building up a lot of hype around the game. Shroud also had a go at the game and was absolutely shredding through lobbies, as you would expect from Shroud. But in the YouTube scene, Drift0r was asked to create some guides for the game. Drift0r is a really big YouTuber in the COD scene, doing weapon breakdowns and things like that. And he was brought in to do some guides for Rogue Company as well. I watched them. They are really good guides. They do have some good information. And he's going to bring a really nice audience from the YouTube scene with that. The last few things just to touch on is that there has been a new image for the Arena Dr. Disrespect's new map that was shown when the game was initially brought out into open beta. He tweeted out an image of some more art of it, and also a new skin for Dima was released. If you link your high-res account or your Xbox account to Prime Gaming, then you can get a skin for Dima, the Heist Dima skin, which is Dima with a wolf head on. That's it for the news though, guys. We're now going to transition into my interview with GringoSR. He's a semi-professional esports coach and the father of GringoJR, who you might know as the 6-year-old that beat Nadeshot in a Gears of War tournament back in Nadeshot's very first LAN event. He offers some really nice insights into that story and also to the progression of Rogue, where he sees it from his standpoint, that I think you might enjoy. Okay then guys, kicking off episode 6 of RogueCast as we delve deeper into the esports side of Rogue Company is a fantastic guest. He is a semi-pro esports coach and the father to what I think is one of the best Rogue Company players out there at the moment. It is with great honour I introduce you to Mr. GringoSR. Welcome, man.
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Yeah, awesome. How you doing? So, as I said, you have experience in sort of the esports sort of semi-pro coaching world of gaming. And I'm just a bit interested in where you got your gaming background from. So sort of talk me a little bit about how you got into games from a young age, mid-age, whatever it was, and how that sort of progressed till now.
Old arcades. I'm 50 years old, so I've been around since before the internet. I didn't come out to 91, 92, which I was 21 when that happened. I played all the arcade games.
Particular favorite?
Asteroids. Tempest was my favorite.
Nice.
And it's just crazy fast paced, I was actually decent at it. And I just liked playing games. I mean, a friend of mine had a Commodore back in the day. We were playing Pong, and
nice.
I just kind of thought it was all cool,
Yeah.
And
how did that progress?
I'm ex-military, so, and I'm gonna hopefully we can talk a little bit about some of the C4s and claymores in the game because I actually was a demolitions expert in the military.
Okay,
So
you're.
this stuff is very unrealistic what's happening right now with C4s. But
I bet so
I
after COD and Rogue Company.
oh, hardcore, even Ghost Recon from when I started. Yeah, I was like, that ain't real.
No, that's
That's
not how
not
that
even
works.
close how that works, but no big deal.
So from arcade games, how did that progress sort of into sort of the internet and games that way for you?
It really wasn't real big in my life.
Uh-huh.
Until my brother-in-law introduced me to the original Ghost Recon on the original Xbox, which was 19, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
And I played that for maybe an hour with him, left his house with my family because we were just visiting, went to Toys R Us, bought myself an Xbox and Ghost Recon and brought it home.
Nice.
And it's been hardcore pretty much ever since. I actually watched game battles being built.
Wow.
We waited. We
That's
played on some websites that don't even exist anymore because game battles took them out or bought them out or absorbed them.
yeah. They overrun it, didn't they? And they were the scene for a long time.
Oh, they owned it, and then MLG bought them. And once they started charging, we were like, nope. We went somewhere else.
What would you say up until sort of the modern games, so sort of probably up until your son was born? What was your favorite game? If you had to pick a favorite game.
So I can't remember what the game was called, but you played. It was kind of set in Japan, from what it looked like, and you had your armies, and you controlled them, and they fought each other, and then you had to like take their land and everything. It's like a Command and Conquer.
Yeah, like a Risk sort of thing, kind of strategy game.
Kind of, yeah. I grinded that hardcore when I was over there. And I was like, okay, this video game stuff is pretty cool. This console stuff. And I didn't, and I think it wasn't until after Junior was born, which was 2000.
Yeah.
It was about the time Junior was born. Like, right, he wasn't even one, I believe, when I ended up getting the Xbox. And that was it for me, because you got Xbox Live. I got to talk to people, and we got to run around and pretend we're army guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it just was like, I'm into this. This is me.
Yeah. This is...
And first, second, third person shooters. I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Nice.
I got this.
Particular favorite in the first person or third person shooter category, like Halo, Gears, any of that particular stick out to you as a favorite?
Out of those particular shooter types, Ghost Recon.
So how has that sort of passion for gaming, that love for gaming, then translated into going into being a coach for gaming and things? Sort of talk to me a little bit about how that transition's occurred.
Okay, the coaching part was not my idea.
Okay.
Okay, Junior was about 2, and I come home from work. My wife was a stay-at-home mom because we believe that it's our job to screw our kids up, and we don't need to hire somebody else to do it. So, and I was doing pretty good. I was actually a car salesman, so at that point it was still pretty good then. And I'd come home from working 9-10 hours. So she would drop him on my lap and say, that one's yours. And then she would take the other one, who's 2 years older, to go, like, do something. Right? Yeah. And Junior was he wanted to do stuff, I wasn't high strung or anything, but he just dealing with 2 of them all day. She's like, this one's yours. and I'm playing my Xbox.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I would put him on my lap, and he's watching.
Yeah.
Then I put the controller in his hand. I'm thinking, because of my sports background, you know what? I'm going to teach him teamwork.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain to him what teamwork's all about, how to play as a team. Because in football, baseball, even running cross country, even track and field, like I did, all of that is all part teamwork. Especially the 440 relay that I actually was decent at. It was weird. It was just weird. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to teach him this stuff.
Yeah.
And then why not do it with a video game? I mean, heck, this is all just having fun anyway. Unbeknownst to me, he was actually going to be really good at this stuff. I stopped questioning at around 2.5, 3 years old what he was doing. Yeah. I just didn't question anymore because I was like, oh, this is stupid. So we're split screening on a bigger TV. It's like a 40-inch, no big deal. And I'm just teaching them, what I know of teamwork. Because everything I've ever done was team-oriented, team-based.
Yeah, from the
You don't
military
have a
to
team,
sports and all that.
everything.
Of course, yeah.
It's a squad. Yeah, so I was able to, so the football, the whole 9 yards, you don't play as a team, you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, so I understand all that. The losing part. So we just started grinding, playing.
Yeah.
And it just progressed to where I would come home. He had my headset on and the controller rolling, and my teammates wanted him to play more than me.
Oh no!
I'm not kidding.
He's like 3 years old at this point.
3. He's 3, and I'm like, really? So then I would have to shut everything down to split screen, and we'd go in and play, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Then it became obvious that this was not just. It just became extremely obvious to me that this was not normal. His ability to do what he was doing. We would also spend hours going over maps. Mm-hmm. In Ghost Recon, you can play non-explosives and explosives. And on some of these websites and game battles, they had two separate brackets.
Yeah. Explosives
and non-explosives, which we can do in Rogue if somebody has the balls to do it. More people played the non-explosive than the explosive. More people. I swear to God, it was crazy. We played in both.
Uh-huh.
And Junior learned both. So we would spend hours learning to throw a grenade, the grenade launcher, the 2 or 3 grenade launcher. Yeah. I also carried that in the military. That was my thing. How to shoot it from spawn to spawn to kill people as they're running.
Yeah.
Throw a grenade in these spots that people might be hiding. It was just, we literally spent hours doing it.
That's cool.
And
yeah, I like that.
It progressed where it was just obvious something was up here. Mm-hmm. So at 4, I had to get him his own Xbox and his gamer tag that he has now. He's had it since he was 4 and he's 19 now.
Wow, 15 years. I don't think about anything for 15 years apart from the teddy I was born with, that sort of thing. That's incredible.
yeah. So that was just how it progressed. And then when he turned 5, we learned about Little Poison. That was we learned about Little Poison in Halo.
Okay, yeah.
And he was 6. Yeah. So when he was 5, I'm like, okay, we can do this.
Nice.
Now, I was a teammate. So at 5, we were traveling around as a family. Mm-hmm. Mom, Dad, older brother now, but back then was sister, and Junior. 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, a mom and dad.
Yeah.
And we were playing in Gears of War tournament. All before MLG picked the game. We did 15 of them all over the United States. Rhode Island, California, Florida, Washington, West Virginia. We traveled. We spent a lot of money traveling.
Yeah, I imagine so. It's a big place to travel around is the US, for sure.
Yeah, it's expensive, but we were doing it as a family, and we were playing Gears. And Junior was doing extremely well.
Yeah.
And at some point, Junior's like, "Okay, Daddy, Mommy, and Marcus, and he's 5. He's 5 years old. He's like, they're not cutting it. Can we get better teammates?" I said, "Well, of course we can, because I'm still the teammate, right?"
Yeah.
So we did, and it was blatantly obvious I was lacking in skill.
Right.
Junior dropped me.
I was about to ask when he said that, how long did it take for him to drop you?
About 3 tournaments.
Nice.
He's like, and apparently I could tell it was really killing him.
Yeah.
Because he knew how much I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Daddy, it's just not good." It's just not. I said, "Oh my God." He says, you can coach."
Oh.
I said, "I can?" He goes, "You can coach." I said, "Okay, let's do that." And that's how I became a coach.
Nice.
Junior dropped me from the team.
That's such a great story.
At 5 years old.
That's so brilliant. You got dropped by your son at 5 because he thought you weren't good enough. That's so brilliant.
I got dropped because I wasn't good enough. And he was right. I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's fair. Yeah, it's
pretty right about a lot of stuff.
Awesome. So so from 5, you've taken over as a coach. You're there trying to make him the best gamer he can be. How did that then continue from the point when you were no longer on the team?
Yeah. We went to a tournament in Anaheim, California. It was
Mm-hmm.
called. It was the same company that was running these small tournaments
Mm-hmm.
where all the Gears pros who became Gears pros all
Yeah.
competed in it. So we got to meet them all. So they knew Junior was coming.
Awesome.
Um, he played with a teammate who asked us repeatedly if he could play with him. At first, I said no because it was going to be my last tournament playing with Junior,
Yeah.
and it was a 2v2 because there wasn't enough teams to sign up because it was in California.
Yeah.
And it was called the Buy.com tournament, which is now called Newegg, which is pretty big. That's where Junior played against, like on my Twitter page, you can see a video of Junior playing against Fatality, which is the big PC player.
Yeah.
That was Anaheim, California, Buy.com. So I said yes. So he played with another person for the first time.
Yeah.
And they did okay. They didn't do great, whatever. I mean, there was a reason why they didn't do great. It was both of them didn't do well.
Yeah.
I won't agree with that to this day, but it doesn't matter. But he started playing a game because they had a bunch of different games you could play.
Yeah.
It was like a small mini CES for video game people and stuff, for developers. So he actually was messing around with a game on PC called Self Actor. And they came to me and said, he just figured it out. He figured out stuff that they didn't even know the game could do. So they said, hey, can you have your son, come back and demo this?
That's
and we were like, yeah, of course we will. Now, it was really kind of funny how everything worked out.
Yeah.
Because we knew our goal was to go to the Meadowlands for the first ever Gears of War event for Gears 1 in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we were grinding for. Going to get teammates for it and everything. But we were going to this tournament and then, do that.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is there's a video of it. I have tweeted it, but you can pull it up. It says GringoJR playing Self Actor, and it's a whole video of him playing the game. And the developers on main stage it was probably 50 some people.
Yeah.
I recorded the whole thing.
That's awesome.
And they pumped it all up. It was crazy.
Yeah.
They came to me afterwards and said, we would like you to GringoJR and yourself, because of Junior, not because of me, just because they knew I had to be there because I'm his dad. Could you come to the St. Louis Science Center on this weekend, and we're going to have a booth up at a Quake tournament that Fatality will be at, because we got to meet him and know him.
Yeah.
And they will allow Junior to play in the Quake tournament. But we want to put a booth up that says, come play GringoJR, the youngest gamer in the new game called Self Actor.
Nice. Wow.
Just a little booth to advertise their game.
Yeah.
We said, and we looked at them and said, yeah.
Of course, yes.
Junior, I said, Junior, you want to do this? He's like, he's kindergarten. He's like, okay. We're going to go fly in a plane again? Okay. So we were going to do it. So we got plane tickets, flight, we got hotel room.
Yeah.
They were going to reimburse us once, because they had to make sure we showed up before they gave us money. Oh, trust them. So we were set. Then somebody in the company that's higher up that writes the checks asked that one simple question that we hope we're going to be asked. How old is this kid?
Oh, no.
And when he found he was 6, the guy said, this is exact words, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
It's a mature rated game.
Yeah.
Back then, apparently it was important back then.
Yeah. No,
so they had to cancel.
Mm-hmm.
They had to cancel. But it happened to be the same weekend as Meadowlands. We did not go to Meadowlands because our money was wrapped up in the other event.
Yeah.
Which we did get reimbursed.
Okay.
We did get our money back.
That's good.
So we didn't go to Meadowlands. We ended up going to Chicago 07. Because this was back in 07. Early 07.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we went to Chicago instead. That's where he ended up doing what he did there.
For everyone that hasn't heard, what did he do there?
We ended up, and this is the part that apparently he played against Nadeshot, the owner of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The COD pro.
Yeah.
And the reason why we know this is because Nadeshot himself put out a video in 2015 explaining, if you're watching, it's called Young Nadeshot vs. 6-Year-Old. About what happened to him and why we're not delusional. We know Nadeshot did not quit Gears because of GringoJR. It was a factor of decisions that just was part of it.
Yeah.
Nobody even thought this was ever going to be a thing. I mean, we're playing Saturday night playing against a team for the last spot of the pro bracket at a major event.
That's incredible.
Nobody could. They just didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
I did. They didn't. Mm-hmm. So we played this team and we beat them. They moved to the pro bracket. They ended up taking top 16 at the end.
Nice.
And that's semi-pro.
Yeah.
Now, if you watch Nate Shot's video, he says in his mind, top 16 is pro. So if he would have got top 16, he would have considered himself a pro gamer in years. So I'm going to take his words and say, Junior actually got pro before Ninja and Nick Merckx and all these guys that are famous right now.
Yeah.
Junior got pro first. But that's not how it is on paper.
No.
So Junior's the youngest semi-pro in the world in team squad. And I'm the youngest, and I am a semi-professional coach. You can't take that from us.
No,
we earned it. We achieved it. So
no, that's absolutely incredible. It's okay. So transitioning then onto Rogue Company, where obviously I played with Junior a bunch, and he's very, very good at the game, and you can tell he just has this ability to absolutely destroy people and click heads, and it's awesome to watch. Where do you, as a coach who's still actively trying to help him in things, improve as he gets older and as he develops to go pro, hopefully, where do you see Rogue Company as a game going in the future? Like, do you think it could be one of these very competitive esports like Gears, like Halo, like COD? Do you think it has the potential to get to that level?
It does. It actually, and I posted this to Scott Gandhi. This feels like old MLG did.
Okay.
Scott Gandhi was he's a pro Halo player from back in the day.
Yeah.
So, I don't believe we ever met him because that was a Halo thing, and we were Gears, and we were the redheaded stepchildren that were flying around Gears events. Gears itself was not treated extremely well as Halo.
No.
So it does. It has a feeling to it. Like this has got some grit to it.
Yeah. What do you think needs to be? But okay, go with the but.
But for one, I hope Hi-Rez gets this out of beta.
Yeah.
And makes it a real game.
Yep, like a full launch.
Full launch.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is no big company, no large org.
Yeah.
Like a top tier org is going to throw money at a beta.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, Rogue Company, the Hi-Rez said, we are not going to run tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
We are not dropping money for prize money. We're going to let the community do that.
Uh-huh.
And so that's my understanding. So they're not going to back their game up with a crap load of money.
No, at least not initially. I think I've heard floating around from some devs that they've never said officially that they're going to do anything. I think it's been alluded to in some situations, but there's so much information coming out from them that no one really knows exactly what the puzzle pieces are. I really hope they do. No. It would make a lot of sense for them to, especially if they're going to get 100 Thieves involved, and then if 100 Thieves jump over, as you sort of said, other organizations will probably jump over too, because 100 Thieves is a massive org. Why wouldn't other people jump on that same train? Yeah, exactly. It's I'd say it's probably one of the biggest orgs for sure. 100 Thieves is just like, you say it, you say nade shot, people know who you're talking about. So with them 100%. Jumping on, looking to get these other orgs on, do you think there's anything that necessarily needs to be added to the game? Obviously it needs to come out of beta, and ranked needs to get involved for sure. I think that's not so much an esports side, but that is for a general player base, I think, very important. Anything else you think needs to be added to the game before it can really thrive? Any mechanics that need changing, or do we need a bigger rogue pool? Do we need a bigger map pool? What do you think?
No, I mean they could add as many rogues characters. Try to make them not too OP, like the video you just put out showing Dahlia's gun, and when Junior messing with it, he said first thing he says, this damn thing's OP as hell. I love it. He said, this will be nerfed. This is going to be nerfed.
Yep.
First thing he said when he played it, he's like, oh no. Oh no.
Literally, that thing is ridiculous. I don't know how that got through. I wonder if the devs were just playing around with it and thinking, wow, I've got really good at this game. Not realizing exactly what it was doing.
This no recoils feels like the Bruin on Call of Duty. Oh,
exactly.
Just not as much ammo.
Yeah,
but
not as
if
much.
You're good, you don't need that much ammo. But
no.
It's one of those things.
Exactly.
No, I think there's a few things. Of course, and I believe, and this is what I hate about all the developers in every game I've ever played.
Aye.
They think the sniper is God.
Mhm.
They need to literally make that, unless you're really good, you're not going to be able to get a one-shot kill.
Yeah.
If I shoot you while you're aiming at me with a sniper, I am going to tell you there is no way you should get that shot off properly.
There needs to be some sort of flinch or something.
Something.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, from Ghost Recon all the way to today, and God forbid you go play Valorant, they make that sniper like, and if you talk to any true sniper in the military, that is not how you use a sniper. It does not work. They're like, I've got my P90, my MP7, MP5 for that garbage.
Yeah.
A sniper is when nobody knows I'm there and I'm way over there.
Yeah.
I will take people out. The minute they know I'm there, book in and I'm pulling out my real weapon.
Yeah.
And it's not that 50 cal or that big no, it is not.
Yeah.
But it is, again, it's not that, whatever.
No, exactly.
I would like to see them take the C4 and put it a little bit smaller radius.
Yeah,
that sucker is OP.
That is very, very strong. I know that's the big problem in comp at the moment when we're running is trying to outplay the C4 without tenacity. Like, obviously we need tenacity at some point just to reduce that damage, but before we get tenacity, it's very, very strong.
We even found out tenacity sometimes it doesn't matter, you get still put down by it. Junior just found that out last night. Wow. He was like, really? That just happened? Not hurt. Before it came, he thought he was out of the radius, and then literally there was almost a wall between him and the explosion.
Yeah.
It's on, you can watch it. He still got downed, and he was like, that is not right.
That is not okay. Yeah, for
now,
sure.
Team Assault, we can play with that, because, unless you're really good with that thing, you're probably not killing down in many people with it.
Exactly.
But that C4, there is no.
Not
First thing Junior did, he went on the shooting range, went to a character to see how big the radius was, and Junior goes, oh, hell no.
Yeah, it's really big. It's a really big radius.
He said, Daddy, come see this. And I looked at that and said, oh, hell no. People have never used a bag of C4 before.
Yeah.
I know they haven't. I have. It does not do that. It's not even close.
Okay, so the one I'm interested in, because you mentioned this at the top of the podcast, I'm really interested in the Claymore, right? So in almost every game, Claymores are set up so that they only explode from the front, and in this game particularly, if you put down Saint's Trip Mine, his Claymore, which is what it's modelled after, I'm assuming, you put it down, you have the laser lines to display that it's pointing that way. If someone walks over it and you're behind the Claymore, even if you're next to it and it explodes, you don't take any damage. How realistic is that for a real Claymore? If I'm standing...
If you're talking a couple feet, you're just going to get concussion.
But if you're next to it...
And if a piece of plastic, if you're next to it, because it's concave, you have a chance of getting hit by some shrapnel, but it's just... It may just take you out of the bat. Like in real life, it'll just hurt you. But if you're anywhere within that radius of the concave...
In front of it.
Yeah, it's going to tear you up.
Wow,
that's what they're for.
So they really are directional. Like
100%.
Wow, that's really serious. I've never known this, and that's.
I blew one up. Where I was about 4 feet away from behind it, and it without earplugs in, it would have hurt.
Yeah,
but not physically.
Wow, that's really
not physically.
Okay.
Any closer, it could. Your eardrums are going to be gone, and you could start bleeding from. Because the concussion damage is pretty good.
Wow.
But if you're anywhere in front of it, and you're
gone. You're out. Okay, so we're coming sort of towards the end of the podcast now, but what I wanted to do was just ask you, what are your plans and sort of Junior's plans coming up for the next year or two? What's going to happen going forward?
Hopefully, because right now he's got a pretty solid team. I like these guys.
He's playing with Maven Micro, isn't he?
Yep.
And then Jolly as well, yeah. They're awesome guys.
Yeah. Feels really good. There's no egos. There's no competing with your own teammates. There's none of that. It's let's just learn together and let's try not to make the same mistakes twice, and that's it.
I've played with all of those guys, and they're all really good players and really nice guys. Like every single one of them. I think that's a perfect like combination there of personalities.
Yeah, it's all Junior wants. Mm-hmm. All Junior wants. It's just nice guys, well-adjusted human beings.
Yeah.
And everybody just plays. And Junior, he wants people that are as good, if not better than him, and that's where these guys are at.
Nice.
That's why he likes this. It's what he's always wanted.
Yeah, that's perfect. He
doesn't need to be the superstar. He doesn't care. He wants to win.
Exactly.
So, and one of the things that we talked about before the podcast when I was talking about, basic video game 101.
Yeah.
With anything, especially shooters, team squad based.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I told Junior when he was 2. I instilled it into him, and he'll say this. You'll hear him say it during his stream while he's playing with his teammates.
Yeah.
The first, it's really 4 things. It's stay alive, stay the F alive, then you can learn the game because you're alive.
Yeah.
That's where game awareness comes, because he will preach it.
Yeah.
Game awareness. How you get game awareness is by staying alive. If you're dead, you don't learn the game.
Exactly.
And that's why you'll see Junior staying alive. It isn't because he's hiding.
No.
He just has the game awareness. He understands he stayed alive long enough on a map multiple times, and he knows this is where they could be coming from. This is what you need to look. If you're dead all the time, you're not aware of this.
No, you're not put into the position where you have to learn it, right? It's like it's something I learned kind of early on. Don't peek the Phantom at 50 meters away. I've got an SMG.
You do it the one time.
You do it the one time. Yeah, you do it the one time. You're like, oh, okay, I lost my head. Okay, that's fine. I'm not doing that again. And then you learn, and then you realize Phantom actually isn't that strong because you just don't allow yourself to be peeked by. You throw a smoke, you rush around the side of her, and you SMG her. But yeah, no, cool.
And with grenades, you go to a spot on a map, and you get grenaded.
Yeah.
If you do that same thing again, you learned nothing.
Yeah.
Because that person is going to throw that same grenade.
Because they got killed.
You have no game awareness.
Yeah.
Play the game for your team. So Junior will say, no, I am not the best player. I am not one of the best players. I want to be and will be one of the best teammates that a team can have. That's why.
No, I think you definitely give us a great insight into what it's like in the sort of coaching world, going to these tournaments. Also, obviously with Junior, raising him in this sort of gaming scene, which I would just say massive respect for any parent who tries to encourage their children to game, and massive respect to Junior for telling you that you're not good enough to play with him. I think that's hilarious.
He was right though. I mean, he was
fair,
absolutely on point.
If I told that to my dad, he'd look at me like, "What are you on?" But no, I want to thank you for being on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
No, thank you for asking me to do this.
A big thank you to Gringo Senior for coming onto the podcast and sharing his insights with us. It was great to have him on. His link to his Twitter will be down in the description below for you to go check him out. And also links to his son, Gringo Jr., if you want to go see some really good competitive gameplay and really high quality gameplay from him. We're now going to move on to the clips of the week, though, and today we're going to be taking a look at my very first RogueCast guest, Birdbrain, who did a fantastic strikeout round on Dahlia, the new rogue, and I wanted to showcase this for you guys. You'll be able to see the potential from Dahlia here in terms of how quickly she can shred, but also how she can adapt to different playstyles. Here we can see Birdbrain on Dahlia moving around the corners. He goes around, sees the demon, absolutely shreds him with the new SMG. It's absolutely a melt machine, has such a quick time to kill, under a second there. Is smoked off from going back around mid, so has to re-rotate through this room. Has to be careful of grenades, and that just shows you the power of that SMG. It does have a time to kill of pretty much under a second in every circumstance, and you'll see the range right here as he peeks around this corner, melts through that demon, even at that range. Absolutely incredible. Does pull back because he is capped at 88 health. Have the Vi rush into the room, is lasering, getting some headshots there, is able to pick it up with the Lancer, and is now trying to switch weapons just to make sure that he does have ammo. You do run out of ammo really quickly with the new objection due to that fire rate. He's just holding these angles, and here you can see the difference between playing fast and playing slow on Dahlia. Both are viable. They do get up. He does quickly clean that kill. Does use his ability to res the Lancer. That way they are paired up here. That's why he's able to roll reload. Has to be careful of this rune, though. They are resing right there. You can hear it. Goes round, absolutely tries to melt that Dema. Here they are. Shreds through one. Shreds through the other so low. Then going on to the Dema. Getting a nice little 3-piece there. Absolutely awesome. You can just see the power of this SMG. And even then, at the range again, melts through the Ronin over there in that corner. You can just see how strong this SMG is and how deadly it's going to be. I definitely think this gun needs a nerf, but we'll have to see what they do. Okay then guys, that's going to take us to the end of RogueCast, and I want to thank you for watching. If you want to see more content from me, well, a podcast comes out every single Saturday at 6 PM BST and 1 PM Eastern, so make sure you subscribe to check that out, and also subscribe to check out my daily guides I do here for Rogue Company to help you improve. All the links you're going to need are in the description below. I hope you have a fantastic day, and remember guys, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll see you in the next video.